All right, we are up. We are up. Need to just do this. We are up. Actually, no, we're just gonna change the title as well, but that's fine. Takes a little bit of time to set up the thing. But yeah, definitely gonna be good. I'm gonna play 1 or 2 games today, as always, depending on how much time I have. It seems like everyone likes this. I still prefer the smaller leap. Probably should have just done the other thing with that. Do I do this? No, I just do this. I've been thinking about this, but I don't think that would be great. So go ahead and do this. Actually, you know what? I probably screwed up there. I'm going to do this first. He's obviously building the Moyo. He is most obviously building the Moyo. I don't know if that was actually a good move or not. I mean, I don't know if he should have responded to that. He's most obviously building this Moyo, but the Moyo has multiple problems, especially since you can no longer threaten this group. I don't think that's a good move, but I want to see an answer for that. Definitely want to see an answer for that. That gives me a lot of territory, though. This is a little too tight for him. Honestly, I probably should just play it in here. I'm okay with extending this way and just grabbing this territory over here. This is probably not a great move, but that's also not a great move. I think it gives me I think it gives a little too much. It gives most of the side away, but he does have a lot of more. I'm probably not ahead at this point. It does give a lot in the middle, though. It definitely gives a lot in the middle. And giving him Sente probably wasn't the best thing in the world. But I already have a lot of I honestly already have a lot of solid territory. So I'm not really that afraid. Because I can sort of actually play like reduction here. That's not a good move, but I want to see how he responds. That's not how I would have actually responded. I probably would have just taken the bottom. really know about letting me jump like this. You actually have to, at this point, you actually have to get a lot um, in return for letting me like get this much territory there. You have some a little bit of territory here, but that's about it. And this isn't solidified. I still have this move. I still actually have this move to like poke away at this territory. So it's not it's definitely not completely solidified yet. It's not good. Let's do this. We'll give him this. Then we'll jump up more. We'll give him like a little bit of corner points. That's actually fine. So I always like really important to do this because it forms the shape over here, and he can't get that much over here now. Still pretty dangerous for white though. It is actually still a pretty dangerous game for white. Still very dangerous for white. I can keep jumping out, but that doesn't necessarily give me more points. And there are problems with this. There are most definite problems with this. With me actually playing this way. That's really not one of them, but... Okay. Fixes a lot of my problems actually, and he still has some issues here. I mean, that's not really a thing because that's not worth very much right now. I'm just gonna do this first. And I'm pretty sure that's Sente, which is really crucial for me to actually get here. I don't think there's a way he can kill me now. So I'm going to fly here. Getting Sente here is incredibly important because this allows me to destroy this territory. If I didn't get Sente here and allowed him to get this, like the game would be a lot closer. He can't really threaten this group anymore. So coming out here, like this is already alive. So you like built all this influence over here, and the whole purpose of this influence was to actually get this territory. But since you actually got the Gote, you can't do that anymore. I mean, there is one way he could try to kill me, but it's probably not going to work at this point. Yeah, by doing this, you just don't really have. There's just not that much territory left here for him to get. I'm gonna go ahead and get this, because it's actually bigger than a lot of the other stuff. Like Hane here definitely becomes bigger. Yeah, that's fine. I mean, he can do this, but it's really not that big, and he just gave me the entire corner. This is always worth doing first. Then you can just do something like this, and like he gets a bit of territory here. Question is, can he actually do that? Actually, I think he can. I'm gonna go ahead and do this. Actually, no, he can't do that. That lets me destroy his territory over there, which is pretty crucial. He obviously is alive, but there's so much territory that I just destroyed right there. So much territory that I just destroyed right there. And I think no, he doesn't really owe me a move, I guess. That's fine. He does get a lot of territory here, but he gave up so much to actually get it. And that's going to be a pretty big problem for him. Because he gave up way too much territory to actually get this territory. And he kind of, oh, yeah, like I get this move, first of all. So that's more of a sente for me. I don't know what to do here. I could do this. I think I'm just going to do this, though. You can have this one stone. It's really not worth all that much. Well, actually, no, because there's no point in giving him that stone. There's nothing here. He's giving me way too much territory here. Like, this is a couple of points, but it's nowhere near what he actually gave me on the side. Oh no, I didn't give any. My teaching games are all even games. Um, I could probably give quite a few stones, but I actually prefer to play. I don't actually like playing handicap games, because it like handicap games like force me to play in a way that I usually don't play. Wait, is this even Sente? I think it is. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is actually. Maybe not. Uh, yeah, this is pretty big. He owes me a move now, or he's gonna die. It's also fairly large. There's a couple of like intricacies in here that um, I don't think he needed to do that right now, but not too bad, I guess. Also going to extend this down. Well, these aren't ranked. These aren't ranked games, so I'm not using these. These are unranked games, so I'm actually not using these. I'm not going to use these to actually improve my rank. And plus, like with the way the elo structure actually works, like I wouldn't really get much elo anyways. For I wouldn't get much elo like improvement for doing this anyways, with the way the structure actually works. Because I would gain like pretty much no elo points for doing this. Oh crap. That's fine. I completely forgot about that. That would have been like really bad if that honestly would have been really bad if I actually like didn't have this. 'Cause I actually totally forgot about that. Let's make two eyes. I totally forgot about that. There was also this, so I guess there wasn't really anything to be afraid of. T6. So if I didn't have this, if I play T6, you would play R6 first, and that would actually kill the eye right there. That was the big mistake around T6. Because like you could actually destroy this eye. T6, Atari here, I would have to be forced to snap back on that. But since this is here, it doesn't really matter. And also there was like moves here as well. So I definitely had some outs, but I totally forgot about that. That is like one of those things that if I was playing an even game, like someone could actually fix this, and then I just like forget about it, and this like whole group would die. So essentially, that is one way I would actually throw a game. It's definitely one way where I would actually throw a game. You know, no, actually, you know what? I could play here. I could actually play here, so I guess it wouldn't be that bad. If he actually plays T7, you would actually play Q6, and then like that would still be an I. So I guess it wasn't really dangerous at all. On that extent, it really wasn't dangerous at all for me. So yeah, I mean, it wasn't really that dangerous because you could actually play Q6, but that is one of those things where you could really really screw up if you don't be careful. Or anything there? I don't think so. Probably not. I don't think there's anything in here either. He's going to take the chance and try to go this way, but I don't think there's. I highly doubt there's anything there. Yeah, realistically, like since this was here, it didn't really matter. But that is like one thing that I just like goof up on because I completely forget about it. Might as well just do that, just to be safe. Definitely like, definitely like definitely a position on the board that I would definitely like be very very prone to screw up on. There's no points here because I'm just gonna go ahead and take these points first. There's no points here anymore. Might as well just do this. Now, that's a mistake. You should definitely go at S6 instead of T6. So I can't really Atari this way. So we're going to do that. There's a lot of mistakes made on both. Actually a lot of mistakes made on both sides by me and him while doing this group. Because I think this group was actually in a lot more danger. I do actually think this group was actually in a lot more danger. than we both than I was playing it for.
Pass.
He could have really attacked this
Remove the
group.
dead stones.
He could have really attacked this group. So essentially, like the difference in score is the difference in score is essentially
You have won.
the difference in score is essentially the difference between this group and like this territory in here and this territory in here. The middle might look big, but the side's actually a lot bigger. So let's actually go back and review this game, because there were several moves here. That move is becoming more and more popular now. I still prefer this, but it's pretty similar actually. Over there, I think the better approach would actually be this. So I will accept one of these challenges. Someone's already challenged me. I will probably accept this challenge after I review this game. Or like I think Pedro actually said play him. So if he challenged me, I'll accept his because he actually said something in the chat. So let me do that. Here, there's this. This is basically normal Joseki. I actually don't know what to. I mean, like I could go here. That might actually be the best move because that feels really bad for black. So probably this is the better move. I'm gonna do that next time. Yeah, this is pretty crucial because it actually dilapidates my shape. So that's not good. I'm gonna go here. I should have done this, honestly. That's actually fairly large. I do this, you do this. I'm gonna do this first. Yeah, see that's like a pretty big move. You respond. You don't want me to Hane. You don't want me to Atari here. Then I'm gonna go here. This Moyo looks big, but it's actually pretty hard to form. There's a lot of invasions here. That's not a good move. I should probably just go here, or maybe just even fly that, or like fly up, or maybe even do this. This is not a good move. I was just testing a response. This is fine because I actually got a lot of territory here. He does get some influence here, but his territory is very limited. And plus, you still have the M18 move later. That's fine. I pincer this way. He does that. I'm going to jump up. That's also not a good move. There's several ways to like. There's a lot of trouble here because you can just kind of like do this, and white can't really do anything. That's actually not very good for white. So I was like, when these moves on testing games, I just test for responses, and there's actually much easier ways to actually deal with this. Just like by doing something like this, it makes it very hard for white to deal with. Come up, do that, and then do that. That's also not very good because I let him get way too much influence up here. Realistically, on something like this, you would you could keep jumping in, but you could just like play this immediately without actually giving him all the influence up here. So this is actually a bad sequence by me, and letting him get this move definitely bad. I'm still ahead though because of all slightly ahead because of all the side territory I got. This actually creates a really weak group. Just by playing something like this, you actually make it really hard for white to actually live down there. You basically, like in this, if you really want to kill white, you want to enclose him in. You want to enclose white in. You don't want white to actually jump out because jumping out gives him a lot of other opportunities. Playing under is definitely a bad mistake here. And honestly, I should have just like jumped out at the first chance. There's not too many points in here, and just by the amount of points he's given me here, if I manage to break his influence and like break his potential here, I'm gonna win. So that's actually like bad. The block isn't a good move by me. You definitely want to do this. Like white would actually be in pretty critical danger right now if you actually just made 08 at this point. Because like now since you've actually done this, white doesn't have too much eye space down here. So if you just actually did that and not let me jump out, like white would actually be in like really critical danger. Because think about like white doesn't really have a way right now. White does not have a way to make two eyes. You just enclose him. You're not really in any danger. I would probably try to do like screwball stuff like this, but it's still very, very hard to get two eyes in here. So like the top is extremely important. You got to play there. But playing like this, letting me jump out is makes it much harder for you to kill. You could still do stuff like you could still do this, and it would still pretty feel pretty bad for white. White could eventually make two eyes, but then like black gets this move, and it changes like the complexion of the game. So like your first option in here is probably to kill white, but if you can't actually kill white, you're going for like he can live, but it's very restricted. It's very restricted, and it's aside from being very restricted, you have to get the sente so you can make a move like this. So I'm just going to get some eye space down there, do this, and just jump out. Now, there's actually a lot of problems with this. Like, there's like moves like this would kind of be very bad for me because yes, they may not be too great for black, but I'm completely enclosed in, and I don't really have a way out of this. You could probably just do this, and if white pushes, you can just, like do that instead. So there's very little ways for white to actually make eyes down here. So that's actually why I eventually did this, to fix this. You don't really have to answer that move. I mean, answering that just gives me a free move because that actually fixed, the reason I did this is actually to fix this cut. Because now, like, it's a tiger's mouth one way and it's a tiger's mouth this way too. That's actually why I did that. It's not to actually make eyes. There's no eye space here. So now I can actually go up here. This is pretty important. And playing here because I would actually have to choose because like cutting here would actually be a little bit of a problem for me, definitely. So there's a lot of problems in my shape going. If you do this and you let me do this, that fixes all my shapes. So like what was a really weak group here actually turns into like a not so weak group. Doing that is obviously beneficial to me. And now you're going to do this. I'm just going to Hane here and essentially take Sente. Remember, like I'm going to take Sente. So like not only did he not manage to actually kill my group, he also gave me Sente. So me coming out here, that basically destroys the entire purpose of him making this wall. Also, yes, like I said here, you just play here. And that's an eye, because he can do this, but he can't connect. So that's the thing there. So I'm just going to take all these Sentes. That's very important. I probably shouldn't have answered this that much. Of course, like that's okay. So like something like this, you always do this first because like this is always, if there's like a cut like this, you generally do this first just to take advantage of it. He does this. You go downwards. Now this might not be so good because this takes away some of the power of this Hane. It didn't matter later, but still. Just some Sente moves. He obviously can't do that because he obviously cannot do that because this actually results in this, which obviously is going to cost him more points. Like this honestly cost him maybe like 10 plus points. So I'm going to do this. Before he did this, there was there is kind of a play here that you can actually make, but this probably, like this would actually this wouldn't really put me in a hard position, I guess. You really can't kill me. Because you really can't kill me here, so I don't think it actually matters. But you can actually do this. You can actually do this, like, or like if you just played this, like I should just play here. But I played here. But remember, like there is this play if you really want to try to kill someone. But it would be quite hard for him to kill me. But by playing this, since you actually played this, now this is gone because this doesn't really work anymore. Since this is a tiger's mouth now. I'm going to do this, just play some ending moves. This is really big down here. This looks big, but it's much smaller than the corner. Just some basic ending moves here. in the end, if a lot of liberties are tightened, that's probably a better move. Uh, but obviously doing this takes that away. It's not too bad, but you know. Take the Hane here. That's really big because it's Sente, first of all. I'm going to connect this, and the rest of it, like I'm already ahead by 40 points here. So that's like how that game was like lost, more or less. Like the real losing part of this game was actually like here. Just not really recognizing how to attack this group. That's actually a really bad move. I've almost expected him to do this. Because like that's getting the bottom territory, and like White can't really do anything here. Like I don't have a base to do much. So if I were answer, I mean like this is not a bad answer. Obviously, I might actually just opt for this answer, because like that's territory down here at least, and that deprives White of kind of a base as well. So this is actually a really bad move. Um, like what I'm actually not behind here. So I can just play this first and maybe do like kind of like this kind of move or something like that. Because I already have like solid territory here and here. As long as I reduce your territory here, I'm most likely going to win. So that might actually be the move of choice for White. So or something like that. Yeah, but like definitely like I did a really bad invasion here. But that's a wrong move. This is also a wrong move. But instead of doing this, because there's nothing to actually protect in this corner. There's actually nothing to protect in this corner. You basically fly up here to kill White, because White's actually in a really hard position. So basically, like the lack of knowing how to kill this group, and also like the lack of actually even getting Sente and letting me get this stone is what determines the game. So that is that game. I guess since I got another one, I only have one challenge here. I'm just going to go ahead and accept this challenge. I think I played you yesterday, right? Or the day before. I have played people multiple times. Generally on this approach, you do want to approach from that side. Just going to go with this right now. Okay, it's fair. Double approach on corner here. Probably should have just done this. It's fine. That's not really something you want to do. Forcing this is generally bad for black. Actually, I probably should have done this first. But I do want to take away his corner. But that was probably wrong by me. That was most likely a wrong move by me. This is pretty crucial. It does actually force him to answer. That usually would be good, but right now it's really not necessary. There's better moves, and this group isn't really that much in danger. That's just a strange move. Would you would definitely do the shoulder hit before that move. You'd most definitely do the shoulder hit before that. So if you say jump up. I'm going to force this right now. Because I want to get this. Not sure if that's the... Really not sure if that was the best move I could make, though. It's actually not a good move by him. I can just basically charge all the way down, and that's very, very damaging for his corner. It's not too bad, though. He does get those 2 stones. But it's pretty damaging for his corner. It's a good move. Go ahead and do this first. I'm just going to go ahead and do this. That may not be the best. Oh no, it's not. Can't do that. Actually, This is definitely not clean. It's fine. Make sure that's over. Doesn't really have much to attack after that. I don't think there's much in that anymore. I don't know if this is actually the right move by me because I'm granting him actually a lot. Probably give him too much thickness on the outside. He's taking pretty good advantage of it too. But there is threat here now. There's a lot of territory here. I gotta figure out how to deal with this. I'm gonna do this first because that's pretty much necessary. I don't know if that was such a good move because he could eventually just be giving this up. Probably should have just done that. I'm giving up too much influence. I'm giving up far too much influence. That's odd. Not really the way I would have played it. Yeah, that's mission accomplished there. Let's take almost all the advantages I can. Then there's some, I know there's stuff down here at this point. I'm just not very good at playing this. Let's see what we can get down here.
You have won.
Yeah. There's you made this group like really weak, and that's the problem. If he actually did this, I think he was actually ahead before this whole sequence. So essentially, like, if he did this, I'm going to do this, and he could actually play here, I think. I would probably just block, though. But I think he could actually live here. Maybe not. But then again, like, this is actually Sente, so he could probably live... Well, maybe not. Either way. Like, it's really interesting, because I made some really bad moves over here. I'm not exactly sure how to play this. Well, that's generally a bad move, because it doesn't really fix your problem. I'm obviously... Like, I could just opt to do this and take the corner, or I'm just going to come up, more or less, and... You know, that is the right move, but I don't like... I actually don't like Black doing that. I mean, Black's group is pretty weak. I'll remember that for next time. Like, so next time if someone does this, this is the right move, because you get all that territory in there. So he does that. I come up there. He does this. I'm going to do this. I want that force. This is not the best move. This is easily the best move. So I was thinking about doing this first and then doing this, but I guess it doesn't really matter all that much. Basic Joseki here. It's kind of a strange move. I'm going to do that first, obviously, and then that probably was an extra... That was probably like not a great move, but I didn't want him doing this and threatening the cut. So I lost a little bit there. That was, I think this was unnecessary. This is definitely a bad move. You probably do this. You probably play here or play here. Because, you know, then you have, like, you're one line ahead of me. If you do this, like, I'm basically one line ahead of you now. And plus, it makes me stronger here, so you can't Hane over. So this is definitely a bad move. I just jump. He does this. That I'm just gonna extend there. I didn't have to extend there. I could have just done this, which is what I should have done. But I'm gonna extend there. He does this. I'm gonna jump out. This actually, you know, I would probably just do that. But here's the thing. I forgot about this. You can do this, and White would be dead. So I actually wasn't reading very well. So because my liberties are tight, you can actually do that. I would actually have to do this in this case, and that would be me giving up a lot. So that's that instance right there. So that is like, that's one Tsuji that he did not actually see. Does this, I'm going to do this. Now, obviously, this doesn't really work anymore. You could still do this, though, and force me to connect. But that was one Tsuji that he didn't see that that would have really been painful for me, because this is the wraparound, and that's how you would actually play that. I'm going to extend here. This is going to be a very bad move. You can't do this. It hurts you. It hurts your corner way too much. Yes, there is some territory here, but it hurts your corner way, way too much. Of course, like, this actually makes this a little hard, so I don't think this is a great move right now. This is, like, this over here is basically alive, because if you do attack it, like, you can't do anything. If you do this, this is basically alive here. So this group I don't consider under threat anymore. This group is still under threat, but not really all that much. That is basically me wanting to threaten to connect. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this. There's also a problem here though, because I would have to do this, and then you could probably just connect. You can just connect this way. So there's always threat there, because this isn't complete. Since this isn't complete, there's always a big threat there. I'm actually really aware of these things, but I'm just playing. I'm playing a lot to see if they like can actually do these things. Because like if you are actually aware of things like this, you're going to be like better than like lower SDK. Or like if you know when to do stuff like this, you're going to be better than like lower SDK. So like this this particularly doesn't solve my problem right now. I'm gonna do this. So if I were black, I would find a way to Sente fix this. I would. This is actually pretty good. This is not too bad. But at this point, like I would probably just go ahead and do this and attack this group, because this group is actually relatively weak now. Or like once you do this, you have to realize like a move like this is Sente. It would force me to do this, and then you can just get the outer points like this. I still don't think black wins like this if I get this corner though, because he has like no points down here. But anyways, like if you're aware of that, you know that a move like this is Sente. So you have to be aware of like that situation on the board. These are generally not very good moves. Realistically, I am actually watching this over here. Because like I don't want this to get too sealed. So that's why I'm doing this. Is a little bit why I'm doing this first. Absolutely not. You cannot let me take this. This is a connector stone. So like this group is alive in Gote, and this group is not alive. You let me take this stone, both groups are fine. You absolutely cannot let me take this stone. It might look good that you're getting the big territory here, but this is way too valuable. This is way, way too valuable. I'm just going to secure that corner a bit first, and then I'm going to just like take all these advantages. You notice like the points here, like here you don't actually have to answer it. You can just do something like that. Because, I mean, realistically, you're only giving up a couple of points here. It might look like a lot of points, but it's actually not a lot of points. So every time like you let me take an advantage like this, you're losing points on the board. So this, obviously I'm going to do this. And then that dies, so now like he's basically dead. So I don't really know how you would answer this, because this is actually really, really hard to answer. You could do this and just, I guess, just kind of like sacrifice these two. I don't know how you would actually answer this. Actually, this is actually really hard to answer. You could just do this and like sacrifice these, I guess, but you would definitely be losing. This is not enough territory. So like basically like this invasion is definitely gonna this invasion, and like that's not the right answer, obviously. I don't know how you would answer this. This is actually a really interesting puzzle question. because I think this would work. Well, no, because then it would, not really, because then you have, even if you do this, I'm going to cut here, and it would actually be a ko. And this would be a really, really freaking big ko. Yeah, this is like a really, really tough one to answer, because like this invasion right now, this invasion, I mean, like once I do this, like the game's essentially over. The game's essentially over. Even if you get all this territory, like I have so much down here and so much here, and you don't really have any other territory besides this, and I'm going to get at least like these 2 stones. So I'm like solidly ahead once I actually do this. So this actually like this game actually comes down to like a critical, like a mistake here, but also not knowing how to make a use or attack, not really knowing how to attack this particular move, and not knowing how to attack this particular move in combination with attacking this group. Because even if I did this, even if you jumped, it would be a much better, even if he just jumped, it would be a much better move than this. And I would almost say like this actually just might be the right move overall. Because like my group here is fairly weak. You jump, I do actually have to answer. And then you can just like come over top or something. So like this shape is good for black, not so good for white. So it's basically like fighting and attacking. How to fight and attack is where the difference in this game actually was. L10. Okay, yeah, I remember that. So like this was actually like this is basically like how I would have played it. If white attacks, let's say if white attacks right here, I would either do this. I would either do this and fight over here, or after thinking about it, I just might jump. I just might jump because like white doesn't actually have a base here. Like white would have to jump almost. You would jump. He would have to do something like this, and then you have an attack on both sides, and he has to fend for 2 groups. So that's why like generally an attack like this is not a very good move. An attack like this is generally not a very good move. It's probably much better just to come over the top. Because this game is actually pretty even right now. It's better just to come over the top because you don't want to divide yourself into 2 weak groups. So that is actually the lesson for today. Like and subscribe. Hit the bell notifications button. And I will actually see you guys on the